All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about OpenClaw, and more specifically, this game-changing idea that you can build your very own personal team of AI agents to help you run your work and even your life.
And look, let's just start with this. When the CEO of NVIDIA, a company at the absolute heart of the AI boom, calls something the single most important release of software probably ever, you know we're not just talking about some new app. That quote alone should tell you just how massive this could be.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, picture this. You wake up, it's 6 a.m., and an AI assistant named Polly has already gone through your inbox, checked your calendar, and basically prepped your entire day for you before you've even had a sip of coffee. Now, this isn't science fiction. It's the actual daily routine for an entrepreneur named Claire Vo, who really inspired this whole deep dive.
And that right there is what we're calling the AI-powered life. It's not some abstract future concept. We're going to see how people, right now, are using teams of specialized AI agents to run their businesses and manage their families.
Okay, so how on earth is a life like Claire's even possible? Well, that brings us to the tool that's powering it all. So, in this section, let's get to know this thing. What is OpenClaw, really?
So at its heart, OpenClaw is an open-source AI assistant. But here are the key things that make it so different. It's autonomous, meaning it works on its own. It runs locally on a machine that you control. And maybe most importantly, you talk to it through the apps you already use every day, like WhatsApp or Telegram. That makes it super accessible.
And here's a quick look under the hood at how it all works. Think of it like this. You send messages to a local gateway, which is basically a central inbox for all your instructions. Behind that gateway, you have individual agents, each with their own job, working on a schedule of tasks. And here's the cool part. They can teach themselves new skills and use new tools, all running on a computer that you own and operate completely.
So, where do you even begin? Well, this next part is all about hatching your first agent. And you'll see, this whole process is way less about being some tech genius and much more about a really interesting shift in your mindset. You're basically going from being a user to being a manager.
And this is it. This is probably the most important thing to get your head around. You have to shift your mindset. You're not a coder here. You are a manager. You are literally defining a job description for a new AI employee. What's its purpose? What are its boundaries? You're onboarding it just like you would a person.
But hey, before you get all excited and jump in, a really critical warning from the source material. Do not install this on your main work or personal computer. Seriously. Because it can access your files and take actions, you absolutely have to use a dedicated, isolated machine, think an old laptop or a Mac Mini, just to keep your important data safe. So that whole onboarding process really just breaks down into these 4 steps. First, you get a dedicated machine. Second, you run a pretty simple installer. Third, you define the agent's role, just like you would for a new hire. And finally, you give it its first simple task to get started. That's it.
Okay, so once you get one agent up and running, that's when you hit what the source material calls the biggest unlock. This is where things get really powerful. It's the move from having just one assistant to actually building an entire AI team.
See, the real breakthrough here isn't trying to build one super agent that can do everything. That's not the point. The point is to create a team of specialists. You've got one agent for marketing, another one for sales, maybe another just to manage your family's calendar. Each one has a very narrow, specific role, which makes them way more effective.
And here is what that looks like in the real world. This is Claire Vo's actual AI team. You've got Polly, the personal assistant, whipping up that morning digest. Then there's Finn, the family manager, sorting out the kids' schedules. And over here, Sam, the sales guy, is qualifying new leads. Each one is a distinct employee with a very specific job to do.
Okay, but this can't all be magic, right? Of course, with all this power comes responsibility and cost. So to give you the full picture, let's talk about the practical side of things. The security risks, what this might cost, and the ongoing care this team is going to need.
First up, let's talk money. A full team of these agents, all running complex tasks, could cost you up to $1,000 a month in API fees. And yeah, that sounds like a lot. But if you're running a business, think about it. That is way less than hiring even a part-time human team to do that same work.
Now, security is a huge one. You have to understand that when you grant an agent access to something, it has real-world implications. Give it your calendar, and it knows where you are. Give it your email, and it can see your financial info. The key is to start slow. Give it read-only permissions at first, and build up that trust over time, just like you would with a new human employee.
And finally, you have to remember that these agents are not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of thing. They need what you might call care and feeding. Their schedules might break, they might forget things, but what's so fascinating is that you don't always have to fix it yourself. You can often just ask the agent to repair itself, tell it to check its own code, or review its core instructions.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? Well, that brings us to our final section, and a pretty unique phrase from the source material. The world is your lobster.
And here's the crucial point. The goal here is not perfection. Your agents are going to make mistakes. The real goal is leverage. This whole thing is designed to give you more leverage in your work and in your life than pretty much any other tool out there. And that leverage just keeps growing the more you build out your team.
And that really leads to the final question. And this one is for you. Just think for a second about your daily grind. All the repetitive tasks, the annoying coordination, the stuff you hate doing. Based on everything you've just seen, what could your own AI agent team start helping you with, like tomorrow?
It's a totally new way of thinking about how we get things done. The tools are here, the guides are out there, which means the opportunity is just ripe for the taking. So yeah, as the saying goes, the world is your lobster. Thanks so much for tuning in.